Hi, very good morning. I'm Dr. Janak Patel. I'm MD physician. Today I'll be discussing on one of the interesting topic in endocrinology, that is andropause. Not a very common finding, but you may come across. It is also called as a partial androgen deficiency aging men. Short form it is called PEDAM, or another name for andropause is male menopause. We'll be discussing under short headings: definition, etiology, pathophysiology, clinical features, investigations, differential diagnosis, treatment, and complications. Andropause consists of some of the symptoms and signs like muscular atrophy, gynecomastia, urinary tract symptoms, and sexual dysfunction like libido. So what is exactly andropause? Andropause is a decline in testosterone production. It is not simply the main male menopause, but men are more dependent on testosterone than women. So decline is slow, not sudden. Symptoms are usually very minor, so may not be interpreted. Culturally and medically, andropause is either brushed off as middle life crisis or even ignored. Good number of time it is ignored. Meaning is very simple. Andra means human male and pause means cessation. So there is a cessation of testosterone hormone, but as it is very slowly, the symptoms appears subtle, or we call so small amount that sometimes it is not even detected. Traditionally, it is said that androgen deficiency will start after the age of 50, and it is accompanied by low level of serum testosterone. There are many more names like PADAM, partial androgen deficiency in aging male, androgen deficiency in aging male, then aging male syndromes, male climacterics, viropause, male menopause, relative hypogonadism, hypoandrogenemia, androchlisis, or late onset hypogonadism. These are all the different words utilized, but the main word now they utilize is andropause. The commonest causes of male andropause is pituitary or testis decline. So slowly there is a decreased hormone production by pituitary or by testis. In pituitary, it will be usually the decreased level of production of FSHLH, while in testis there is decreased production of testosterone. Some of the other etiology which can end up with male menopause, like excessive alcohol consumption, obesity, smoking, metabolic syndrome, hypertension, medications, certain drugs particularly, poor diet, lack of exercise, poor circulation, and psychological problems like depression. So some of the common condition which can also end up like chronic illness, certain medications, severe obesity like metabolic syndrome, and excessive alcohol. It can be classified into three groups: primary, secondary, and mixed variety. Primary means basically the failure of a testis, which can end up with hypogonadism, like Klinefelter syndrome, orchitis, congenital or acquired anarchia, testicular tumors, where testosterone production is less, LH level is high. While in secondary variety, where there is a damage to hypothalamus or to pituitary gland, because of which there is a decreased production of LH. So LH level is low, and because LH level is low, even testosterone production is low, like Kallmann syndromes, chronic illness, sleep apnea, constitutional delay, hypopituitarism, pituitary tumor, surgery or irradiation on pituitary glands, etc. And there are some other conditions where you can have both damage to testes as well as damage to pituitary, hypothalamic pituitary testicular axis, like hemochromatosis, sickle cell, thalassemia, person who is on a chronic glucocorticoid treatment, alcoholism, HIV infection, person who is continuing taking opiums, age, etc. There is also one condition called as a pseudoandropause. This is because of decreased level of testosterone, secondary due to liver disease, some of the beta blockers, zinc, magnesium deficiency, excessive alcohol consumption, marijuana consumption, sedatives, etc. There is one another condition which is similar to andropause, we call it the post-pubertal hypogonadism, like pituitary adenomas, uremia, systemic illness, hyperprolactinemias, hemochromatosis, Cushing syndrome, cirrhosis of liver, morbid obesity, cranial irradiations, mixed variety, we have already told you, acute or chronic medical illness, hemochromatosis, HIV infection, metabolic syndrome, diabetes mellitus, aging process, or maybe idiopathy. Now we know very well anterior pituitary can secrete ACTH, which can have effect on adrenal cortex. Adrenal cortex will produce all the three mineralocorticoid, glucocorticoid, and sex hormones. Because of absence of 21 hydroxy progesterone hormone, there will be decreased production of mineralocorticoid, decreased production of glucocorticoid, and increased production of sex steroids. This is very common in congenital adrenal hyperplasia. Normally, hypothalamus will produce gonadotropic releasing hormone, which will stimulate anterior pituitary to release FSH-LH. FSH will stimulate spermatogenesis, LH will stimulate Leydig cell to produce testosterone, and this testosterone can have an inhibitory effect at the level of pituitary as well as at the level of the hypothalamus, and it will try to control hypothalamic pituitary testicular axis. So these particular things, and it also produces inhibin and activin. Inhibin will inhibit at the level of pituitary to produce FSH. So these are the regulation of hypothalamic pituitary testicular axis regulation. Bioavailability of testosterone will depend upon the sex hormone binding globulin and albumin. And total testosterone is equal to free testosterone plus albumin combined with testosterone and sex hormone. So by and large, if there is a decreased level of sex hormone binding globulin or albumin, it will result into free testosterone level. So in a andropause, there is a low level of gonadotropic releasing hormone. So there will be decreased production of FSH-LH, and that will give rise to decreased effect on testis, and that will reduce Leydig cells and reduce the Leydig cell function. So testosterone production will reduce, and relatively there will be increased level of estrogen, and that increased level of estrogen will have a negative effect on hypothalamus. So Leydig cell is reduced, testosterone production is reduced, there will be increased level of LH, and this is happening at the level of hypothalamic pituitary testicular axis, and decreased amplitude of LH pulses. There is a asynchrony between LH release and testosterone secretions, and slowly there is a decreased production of testosterone because there is a decreased action on testis, Leydig cells, and that gives rise to what we call as an androgen deficiency. And this will usually start after the age of 50. Testosterone level will start falling, and at the age of 65, almost 10% of the men have got androgen deficiency, and 20% by the age of 70. So slowly you can see that the testosterone level will start falling right from the age of 50 onwards, and it will fall further by the age of 75, and maximum is between 75 to 85. So no andropause corresponding to the female menopause. There is usually gradual, relatively modest change, and variability is there between men and female. Total and free testosterone do decline slowly, but continuously from the age of 30. By and large, it is after the age of 50, and slowly over a period of time, there is a gradual decline in the testosterone level. Because of that, there are some symptoms which starts appearing, that is reduced energy, decreased sense of well-being, easy fatigue, decreased libido, decrease in erectile dysfunction, changes in ejaculations, decrease in strength because of decrease in the body mass, that is muscle mass, lean body mass, loss of height, body hair, loss of body hair, increase in body fat. Person can have skin symptoms like hot flashes, sweating, insomnia, anxiety, irritable mood, tiredness, lethargy, lack of motivation, low mental energy, depression, low self-esteem, lack of interest, and desire for sex, lack of desire for sex also, less sexual activity, poor erection, reduced quality of life, etc. Because testosterone level starts declining, there is also disturbances in sleep. Person can have insomnia, hematocrit is reduced, RBC mass is reduced, decreased appetite, decreased memory, decreased libido, decreased muscle mass, and even a bone mineralization decreases because even there is a decreased level of estrogens, and person will have a osteoporosis. So these are all the symptoms and signs. These are specific symptoms we already mentioned, and these are less specific symptoms. Already we have mentioned previously. All this we have mentioned in this and this slide. So it is a repetition. At your leisure time you can go through, like loss of body hair, decrease in height, low trauma fractures, easy fractures, low low BMD, that is mineral density is reduced, mineral density is reduced, reduction in the muscle mass, hot flushes, sweating, increase, incomplete sexual development, eunorchism, aspermia, reduced sexual desire and activity, decreased spontaneous erection, breast discomfort, gynecomastia, very small and testis size is reduced, irritability, decreased energy, motivation, initiative, aggressiveness, self-confidence, feeling shared, so change in psychiatric and emotional behaviors, depressed mood, then poor concentration and memory, sleep disturbances like insomnia or increased sleeplessness, mild anemia, increased body fat, body mass index is affected, diminished physical and work performance. All these are symptom signs because of decreased testosterone level. By and large, it is after the age of 60. So there will be effect on brain, skin, muscles, liver, synovial tissue, kidney, male secondary sex characters, bone marrow, bone itself. All those structures are being affected. Already we have discussed low sexual drive, mood instability, irritability, decreased muscle mass, loss of muscle strength, increase in central body fat, osteoporosis, easy fractures. There will be endocrine symptoms, somatic symptoms, sexual, psychological. You can divide into that. Endocrine symptoms like erectile dysfunction, reduced erectile quality, nocturnal, diminished nocturnal erections, decrease in increase in abdominal fat, increased waist size, decreased muscle mass, decreased vigor, easily fatigue, poor exercise tolerance, decreased muscle mass, so there is decreased strength, decrease in bone mineral density, decreased body hair, sexual symptoms like decreased libido, decreased sexual activity, reduced ejaculations, reduced ejaculated volumes, limited quality of organs. Psychological symptoms, lot of those symptoms, mood change, poor concentration, lot of loss of motivation, memory impairment, anxiety, depression, irritability, insomnia, intellectual function is also reduced, poor work performance. All these are lot of symptoms and signs. Again, those are repeated here. So once you come across a person in whom you are suspecting hypogonadism, so you have to do a testosterone level. If testosterone level is low, it can be because of androgen deficiency like LH, or it can be in borderline where you will have to repeat a total testosterone level and try to find out it is due to what. If it is normal, androgen deficiency is excluded, straightforward androgen deficiency is excluded out. Now you have to look for these groups, androgen deficiency, look for LH level. If LH level is high, it is more likely to be primary gonadal failure like Klinefelter syndrome, cryptorchidism, post-orchidism, post-orchitis, or toxic damage to the testis. And if the LH level is low, it is either because of pituitary or hypothalamus. Look for gonadotropic releasing hormone. If it is that, it is gonadotropic releasing hormone deficiency. Look for prolactin level. It can be hyperprolactinemia. And then look for what we call as a pituitary glands. And for that, you will have to go for CT MRI and find out whether it is pituitary tumors or pituitary damage because of surgery, because of radiation, or because of infarcts, etc. Vascular etiology, etc. Second thing, what you will do is level of albumin and sex hormone binding globulins, because that can also alter the level of free testosterone level. So you will have to measure the level of free testosterone level, sex hormone binding globulins, and also estimate the level of serum albumin. So you will have to demonstrate that the androgen levels is low, free androgens level is low. So that you will have to demonstrate by doing a serum total testosterone, free testosterone level, sex binding, sex hormone binding globulin, all those you will have to estimate and find out what is the amount of free testosterone level. So these are all those things, and along with that you will also do the level of LH, FSH level to find out primary or secondary. So that will be very helpful. So this is the way to find out whether the person is having a testosterone deficiency or not. And once you confirm, main important part is replacement of testosterone. We call it as a testosterone replacement therapy, or you can use the word hormone replacement therapy. It can be in the form of oral tablets or by injections or transdermal patch, transdermal jelly or implants, etc. Any one of those. So oral tablets are available, injections are available, transdermal patch are available, jelly is available, and even implants are available. So you can go for any one of those particular procedures. And this is the effect of testosterone replacement, how it will be acting on androgen receptors. This will be acting on androgen receptor. This estradiol will be acting on estrogen receptors, and dihydrotestosterone will be acting also on androgen receptors, and this will be the effect of dihydrotestosterone. This will be the effect of androgen receptors. And when you give in excess, there is always a chance of a risk. Like when you give this testosterone, dihydrotestosterone, can give rise to prostate cancer, BPH, etc. While testosterone can give rise to erythrocytosis and sleep apnea. While estradiol excess, by and large, there is less amount of side effects, but can produce decreased functions of male, like decrease in muscle mass, increased chance of bone fractures. Sorry, no increase array. That will be in this particular increased chance of bone fractures, etc. But here it will decrease libido. So that will be the effect of excess of estrogen level. These are all the different types of preparations what are available, and these are the doses which you can decide and give them. There are some positive effect, there are some negative effect. While giving a testosterone, these are the beneficial effects like increase in muscle mass, decrease in fat tissue, improve in bone density, and improve in sexual function. But it will have a negative effect on hematopoiesis, where it will increase the RBC mass, increase in hematocrit. It can produce elevation of blood pressure like hypertension, peripheral edema, sleep apnea, and may produce prostatic problems like BPH, and may be prone to get prostatic carcinoma. So male breast cancers are quite common when you are giving a hormone replacement therapy. So there is a risk of male breast cancer, prostate cancer, blood clots, increased heart disease, diabetes, kidney disease, edema. So these are all the side effects, that is breast tenderness, gynecomastia, changes in testicular size, compromised fertility, skin reaction, fluid retention, acne, increase in body hair. So all those things we already mentioned, BPH, sleep apnea, hematocrit will increase, may worsen congestive heart failure. So in those conditions you should not give, and it is also contraindicated in prostatic cancer, breast cancer, if hematocrit is more than 55. In those conditions also you don't give that testosterone replacement therapy. And these are some of the things we have already mentioned. So you should monitor continuously when you are giving a testosterone replacement therapy. Symptom signs, testosterone level. You should also look for PSA and do a rectal examination. CBC should be done at a regular interval with PSA. Look for urinary symptoms, sleep apnea, gynecomastia, development of a breast cancers, etc. So in complications, mainly because of andropause, muscle atrophy, muscular weakness, gynecomastia, urinary tract symptoms, sexual dysfunctions, osteoporosis, decreased libido. Because of continuous testosterone replacement therapy, you can get complication because of testosterone replacement therapy. We have already mentioned chances of breast cancer, chances of prostate cancer, etc. is more likely. And Another very common complication is psychological symptoms like depression, anxiety, mood changes. All those things can happen. So I end my lecture here. Go through your at leisure time. It may be helpful to you. You might see once in a while this group of people in your practice.